Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Giselle and I'm an ultrasound technologist, aka sonographer. Today we have Michael on and we are going to talk about your ultimate guide to ultrasound school. It's going to be one of the greatest videos you're going to ever watch if you want to become an ultrasound technologist slash sonographer. No matter you're a student, if you're a person just trying to figure out about ultrasound, if you're already in the field, Michael here, he's going to tell us all about it and we're going to just talk everything you need to know about ultrasound school. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
Thank you for coming back on. If you guys didn't
Absolutely.
know, he's been on my channel before, two videos, and you guys need to go watch those videos. They are amazing, and it's been a long time. It was like 3 years ago.
Yes, it's been a while since I've been here. It's definitely been about 3 years, and I have had so much happen in the past 3 years, and I am so excited to talk to you all about it.
Yay, I'm so excited because now he is an educator and obviously becoming an ultrasound technologist, it's really important to go to the right school for you personally. And we all know that going to school is a lot. There's so many things you need to look up, research. But before we go into that, Michael, let us know who you are a little bit for the people who don't know you and kind of what you do, because I know we do different things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Michael, and if you have seen my videos before with Giselle, you know that I am a cardiac sonographer. In the past 3 years, I have had some exciting updates in my life. I actually became a cardiovascular sonographer, so I am a RVT and registered in vascular. I'm also previously registered in adult echo as well as pediatric echo. I have worked in all three modalities, either simultaneously or separately, in the past 3 years. And I am most recently an educator. So I've stepped away from the front line a little bit, and I am in the education field teaching at the school that I actually went to for cardiovascular ultrasound. After completing my bachelor's degree, I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different. And I have always loved educating and the idea of being an educator, even back before ultrasound, and just combining the two things that I love the most. It just made sense to go ahead and teach cardiovascular ultrasound.
It's amazing. So perfect for you, especially because if you guys watch his older videos, he talks about what he was doing before ultrasound. And a lot of people come on here and ask me, "Oh, is there something I can do in the meanwhile before going to school or while I'm going to school?" And he has great information on that in those videos. So check those out, links in the description below. Today, we're going to start off with education because it's very important. The most important thing that people need to know about, I think, with schools is choosing a school, right? So, where do you think they should start?
So, when choosing a school for ultrasound, it's very important to separate the two broad categories. I would say that you need to separate our accredited schools and our non accredited institutions. And when I say that, there's a lot behind what makes an institution accredited. It's not just, oh, they got this fancy certificate and they're able to put it on their wall and display that their school is better than another. That's not it at all. It encapsulates being able to have the financial resources necessary to go to school. It encapsulates knowing that your curriculum that you're going to be learning includes everything necessary for you to be fully educated and competent, fresh out of school, to be a sonographer. And when I say that, it's not about cardiac, it's not about vascular, it's not about general, it's about all of the modalities. No matter what you scan, you want to be competent in it. And the background of that is based on the school and what sets their guidelines and standards. For my school that I work at here in Mobile, Alabama, as well as many other schools, it is the accreditation agencies that set those guidelines for us.
And with that, do they have to decide, in your opinion, first, like there's all these different schools that they could pick from. How do they decide, okay, should I go to this school or that school because there's cardiac, general, vascular, and it's also confusing and jumbly for them to see when they're doing their research?
Yes. So, a big thing that we run into in education is when students are not fully sure what they want to commit to and what modality of ultrasound they want to commit to. Now, some universities or schooling require you to have shadow hours for you to actually go and shadow the career that you're looking to go into, whether it be a radiology modality or nursing or ultrasound specifically. But I definitely recommend shadowing or speaking out to a sonographer if you're interested in potentially becoming one, because they have the answers to almost all of your questions, likely. And if they don't, they likely know someone that does have the answer to your questions. We know how small of a world sonography is, so we know a lot of people. We know people all around the country, so we are likely able to help you in some way, shape, or form to lead you in the direction of where is best for you. And that's going to depend a lot on your personal life, on what sort of things you are okay running across in the field, whether you can handle the unfortunate circumstances of OBGYN versus seeing patients that are going to need to have life saving measures done immediately in cardiac or vascular, for example. We have a lot of modalities of ultrasound, and you've covered that on your channel. And I think that your channel, as well as a lot of other people's social media pages that are out there working, are such good advocates for our field, because they are doing the job that is the goal of our students and the people that are interested in sonography, right? So look at as many social media pages as you can, and don't just favor one or two. Go in with a blind judgment and go in with a learning cap and just listen to what each of them have to say. And I think that you, knowing nothing about ultrasound or maybe barely anything, you can go in and notice trends or consistencies among the different people, and that will help guide you into what you're made to do.
Absolutely. And one of the questions that people ask is, oh, if I choose one, can I do another? Or if I want to do OBGYN, does that mean I have to do that by itself? Or if I wanted to do general, can I cross train or go into vascular, cardiac later on?
Right.
So that's a good question for some people to know that you're not stuck with just one modality.
Right. And that is so true. Depending on your area and where you're looking to go to a program, or also depending on where you're looking to go out and work in the field, is dependent on what sort of program you may want to do to best cater towards getting a job. Now, ultimately, of course, the more modalities that you understand and are competent in, you have a broader range of where you can work. However, I always did say that knowing a lot about a small subject is better than knowing a little bit about a much broader subject. So if someone is interested in cross training, it needs to be something that they're just as equally passionate about or just as equally interested in. There can't be any sort of ulterior motive behind it, like just for money or anything for that purpose, or just to get another credential, only because those people that you're scanning, that is still a life. It's just a different exam. So you are definitely not tied down. Some programs teach, typically general programs encapsulate OBGYN and abdomen at the minimum, but they also usually touch on breast, small parts, maybe a little bit of pediatrics and musculoskeletal. And then you have your cardiac programs, which would be echocardiography specifically, maybe a little bit of ped echo. And then you have your vascular programs. I have always said that vascular is sort of like the middleman between the modalities, because with cardiac, you're using hemodynamics, blood flow, and you're using your Dopplers a lot, right? And that's something that we utilize a lot in vascular. Whereas in general, it's a lot of sweeps, 2D imaging, in different techniques, but they also still visualize the vessels within those organs. So it's kind of like a nice middle ground between the two to know vascular. And depending on where you end up working, all three labs may be separate, or general and vascular may be together, or cardiovascular may be together, or cardiac may do a few of the vascular exams and general may do a few of the vascular exams. It just really depends on your location.
That's a great way to put it, especially because everyone's confused when it comes to all of our different modalities.
Absolutely.
So do your research, everybody. Make sure you ask questions if you're confused or lost. You can always comment down below. You can always message us. We are also in our
Absolutely.
Discord. Our Discord is a great place for people to get one-on-one and their questions answered. And it's really a great space and a safe space for you to ask whatever you want to ask about ultrasound in there. As far as choosing schools, what would you say they need to do to decide, okay, where should I go, especially if there's all these different accreditations? Because we know that, like we touched on the beginning, non-accredited versus accredited. Is it really important for you to go to an accredited school to get a job afterwards? That's like the number one question I think that everybody has.
Yeah, so I would say in more recent years, accreditation has definitely become of utmost importance. And not only because it allows you to sit for your registries before graduation, but because employers are almost requiring you be registered, preferably before becoming employed in their institution. Additionally, if you are not registered, then you may only have a set amount of time to get registered. And unfortunately, if you did not attend an accredited school, you may not be able to take your registry within that moment of time. And so you would be put on a professional suspension, or at worst, you may be let go from your job. And that is a reality that some sonographers face when they don't get credentialed. Now, there are other important factors when choosing a school based on accreditation. Like I had mentioned, the financial aspect. So that is actually a big deal with accreditation because unaccredited schools, in the sense of there's two types of major accreditation. There's program accreditation and there's institutional accreditation. So most 4-year universities, 2-year universities are going to have institutional accreditation. That means that they can take financial aid, and that means that you can get student loans through the government by filling out a FAFSA. Whereas some private sector institutions, like a school that I work at, relies on institutional and programmatic accreditation to be able to take financial aid as well. Now, if the program is not CAHEP accredited, but the institution is, they typically can still take financial aid. Whereas if a program is not institutionally nor CAHEP accredited, they cannot take financial aid. So if you are choosing a private sector ultrasound school that is not at least institutionally accredited, you will likely have to come out of pocket or use private loans to pay for your schooling. And that can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. And in 2025, a lot of us are struggling financially. So we are not able to come out of pocket with that much money.
Yeah, it is expensive, you guys. So now one thing we want to touch up on is choosing to do ultrasound. If it's something that you really want to do, get out there, do your research and figure it out. Figure out the schools that you have in your area. If you're able to go in your area, please write out your list, your pros and cons of each, because like he said, the money part of it, we got to figure out how you're going to pay for school, let alone choosing which modality you're going to choose in the beginning. So now, if you really can't find a school around you, you can always go somewhere else in another city or state, and then you can always go back home to where you live to work. There's so many options, but I think that if you want to do this and you've done your research about the job, don't waste another second because there are wait lists out there. And if you were deciding this a year ago and you still didn't go to school, you could have been done with school for a year already if you just
Absolutely.
jumped into it last year. So definitely
Absolutely.
do your research and choose wisely. If you need help, you can always ask for help from other people out there. Social media nowadays is such a big, big, big tool for this.
Absolutely. And just to carry on for what you said, traveling for school is not by any means a bad thing. If anything, it can actually be extremely beneficial if you choose to go back home to work after your program. And what I mean by that is if you are in a place that has, say, 3 ultrasound schools, the area is going to be more saturated. And if there are no ultrasound schools in the area and you travel out to do schooling and go back home, you are likely going to have a few options of where you can work. And your employment is going to be a little bit more of a debate. You can argue for that higher salary. You can argue for certain hours and shifts because you are worth that much more in an area where there are less new graduates. So that's something to consider. And we have students here at my school where I teach. So I'm in Mobile, Alabama at the Cardiac and Vascular Institute of Ultrasound. And we have students that come from around the country. And as a matter of fact, we have had students that have come from out of the country to come to school here. And the thing is I have students in my classroom right now that are from Colorado, California, Michigan, all these different places, Chicago. We have had students from Hawaii come here for ultrasound. And that is because they chose a place that they felt comfortable with getting their education. And that is something that I want every student to feel when picking a school, is that you're able to watch videos, you're able to scroll on their Facebook page, and you're able to say, that looks fun, but it also looks like I'm going to get a good education, because that is what matters most, especially in our day and age, because schooling is not just reading a book. It's not just going through the motions of doing something. It's developing a passion for it, and it's developing love for what your career is going to be. We don't want to go to work and hate our life every day.
Exactly. No, you hit the nail on the head. Really, it's choosing the career, choosing what you want to do with your life, and then choosing the place where you're going to learn all that. And then choosing a job at the end of the day, that could be a whole nother story, but getting your education, that's first and foremost very important. And making that decision is really important. So we know after being there and doing all the research, and all you have to do now, you clicked on this video. Now you just have to do the research for yourself and make sure you choose the pathway that you feel is best for you.
Absolutely. Don't necessarily stress about the length of a program either. That's something that a lot of people stress a lot about is, for example, at our program here, they may do a year of cardiac and they just say, well, I just really don't want to be in school another 3 or 6 months or another year. And my best argument is always, what is another year in comparison to your entire future career and what you set yourself up for? Do you really want to possibly limit yourself by not doing that extra course or that extra work and putting in that extra effort that could pay you several more dollars an hour, or get you that supervisor position, or allow you to become an educator someday? It's a short amount of time in the long run when you look at how much goes into our career. We are constantly learning, especially as new graduates, but even 3, 5, 10, 15 years in the field, you are going to still be learning. And get as much of that as you can while you're in school and soak it all in, and take that time to set aside strictly for learning, so that when you get out there in the field, you're that much further ahead of the people that didn't do it.
Yes, absolutely. Especially because it's a lifelong learning lesson, really. I've been doing this since 2017 and I'm still learning a lot of things. There's a lot of things I've never seen. And there's a lot of things that I have yet to even know. And one day maybe I want to do cardiovascular, because right now I'm in general. And so maybe one day I'll want to go to Mobile, Alabama and join your school and then be
I
taught by
would love
you.
that. We would have you.
So it's definitely an amazing field to be in. You guys are not choosing wrong. If this is something that you feel you're gravitated to, if you're passionate about, that is a good thing to have. And I know that the schooling is scary, but it's your first step to do something that you're going to love for a very long time. People are afraid to jump into things, but what I say is school is only 3 to 4 years. It could be 5, 6 years, but you have 10, 15, 20, 25 years ahead of you. So
Exactly.
why not start
And
today?
a lot of people that decide to get into ultrasound have already done a lot of schooling. And I have a lot of respect for the fact that you've maybe already completed a bachelor's program, or you may even have your master's or doctoral degree. And schooling, you just know that you don't want to be a lifelong student. But if ultrasound is something that you choose to pursue, you essentially are a lifelong student at a certain aspect. But even for that small amount of time of your program, it is worth it to just put in that full effort and to do the extra time to get that extra education. And that's another topic, talking about the different levels of programs. I know we've mentioned in past videos, we have our technical programs, which are our certifications, which is like the school that I'm at. Typically, we have people come in that already have a bachelor's degree or associate's degree. There are the associate's degrees, there are bachelor degrees, and you have a bachelor's degree in sonography. And I also have a bachelor's degree in echo, but I obtained that after my certificate program by using a bridge program, a completion program. And those are options as well. And I see quite a few, especially lately on Facebook groups and different social media, about people asking if it's worth it to pursue that higher level of education, especially the rough subject or touchy subject of a bachelor's in sonography. And I always tell people that, yes, you're asking for opinions on this post by us, providing our opinion. However, if you want to further your education, do that for you. You're not doing it for anyone else except for maybe your family, but you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for your coworkers. You're not doing it for your peers out in the field. So if you want that bachelor's in sonography, you get that bachelor's in sonography. It's going to only open doors for you by increasing your education, whether it be by a class or a whole degree. You are only opening doors and keeping doors open. You are never closing them.
Yeah, there's so much out there for you guys. And there's really like I didn't know what I wanted to do. At one point I went to go and get my master's degree, and now I have that just in my pocket, just to see what else I wanted to use with it. There's so many
Absolutely.
options.
With the masters, you could stay in sonography. You could be a sonography supervisor or a lead tech. You could be a director of a radiology department, or you could switch it up entirely and you can go to teach healthcare classes at a university. You can switch into a non-clinical role in healthcare. You have so many options now. Like I said, that only opens doors for you, and it's swung open many, many for you with a master's degree.
That's so awesome. I'm like, because I know a lot of times people don't know what they want to do after ultrasound, but I really feel like ultrasound is a job or career that a lot of people really do love, and that's why they're in it for a very long time. And we are all very passionate about what we do.
Absolutely. And so sonography is not what I would call a terminal career, because you can move into education. You can move into being device rep. You can move into application specialist. You can move into different roles and even further your degree after your bachelor's or associates. But it is okay, and by all means, if you love sonography and love being in the front line of the field, I know so many sonographers that don't want to do anything other than what they're doing right now, and that is scanning their patients. And I love that. I do, because I have so much respect for someone that wants to continue doing what they work so hard to learn how to do. And each day by doing it, they are perfecting their skill more and more.
Yes. And it all starts with education, you guys. So definitely do your research. Is there anything else that you feel like we need to let them know about when it comes to schools and becoming a sonographer?
I don't think so. I think we definitely touched on our accreditation versus non accreditation. We've touched on different types of programs, what to look for, traveling for school versus staying home. If anyone has any questions, we are definitely always open to answering those. Please join our Discord. We
Hmm.
love new members, we love having interactions there. We do occasionally have Zoom calls where we take live questions and just chit chat about the career, tell fun stories, and all that great stuff. Hopefully, we should be having one of those pretty soon ish, actually. I think it's due time.
Hmm.
Um, and then we would love to see some new faces there, hear some new voices. So definitely check that out and let us know if you have any questions.
Absolutely. Do you have like a quick, like, let's say if somebody was like, okay, what are the 5 steps I need to do to become a sonographer? Like, is there something that you could quickly just be like, do this?
Yes, I would say 5 things to become a sonographer. Research, research, research. You need to look into the different types of sonographers, what they do, and see which one piques your interest the most, or at least narrow it down to maybe 2 modalities. Then I would say look up schools in your area. The best way to do that is going to be to go on the KHEP website, and they have a school finder. So you can look up sonography schools and programs near you, or you can also just do a Google search. I would say get your prereqs done. Even if you don't know which modality you want to do in ultrasound, you know that you're going to need anatomy and physiology. You know you're going to need some basic Englishes and maths. Go ahead and get those done now. And then I would say also go ahead and shadow a sonographer. Go ahead and see what facilities nearby allows you to shadow a sonographer. And maybe if you're able to get into multiple modalities, such as watch an echo sonographer for a day and then a general sonographer, that will vastly alter your opinion and how you feel about everything. And then I think that's four. So five, go ahead and stop hesitating and just apply to some schools and go ahead and start your journey in sonography now.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, there you go. 5 steps on becoming sonographer. This is really, truly a great video to send out to everybody. And I'm so glad that we have Michael here to help you guys on your journeys. Kickstart your journeys, even if you're already a sonographer. Hey, and you wanted to one day cross train, Michael's over there in
Absolutely.
Alabama.
Come and learn from me.
Thank you so much for coming onto the channel, and we're gonna have to get you back on so you can update everybody on everything that you've done in the last couple years.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Always happy to be here and happy to talk to everyone that loves sonography as much as us.
So thank you so much, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.